The Vega outpost floated silently in the black emptiness of space. It was small. Only 20 people worked there, but it was important. They studied distant stars, scanned for new planets, and kept watch on the outer edges of human space. Commander Ethan Cole stood on the observation deck, staring at the tiny moons and faraway suns. He had been in space for nearly 10 years, and he knew that quiet moments like this never lasted long. Ethan was a tall man with short brown hair and steady green eyes. He liked order, and he liked his crew to trust each other. Behind him, Laura Bennett typed rapidly on her console, listening for any unusual signals. She was the communications officer, small and sharp, with hair always tied back and eyes that never stopped moving. She loved puzzles, and she treated every signal like a mystery to solve. Dr. Owen Carter, the biologist, floated past in the narrow corridor. He had a small lab in the center of the station, where he studied microbes from alien planets. Owen was quiet and thoughtful, always lost in his notes or small experiments. He waved at Ethan and Laura as he passed. The outpost was calm that night. Machines hummed, lights blinked, and outside, the stars twinkled in perfect silence. The crew drank their coffee and joked softly over the intercom. It felt normal. Too normal, Ethan thought. Suddenly, the station shivered. It was subtle at first, a small vibration under their feet. Ethan's hand went to the console. "Check the sensors," he said. Lara's fingers flew over the keys. Nothing unusual in the asteroid belt nearby. No meteor activity. "Sensors are all green." She frowned. Then the warning lights flashed red. A sharp alarm rang through the corridors. Ethan grabbed his communicator. "All crew, to battle stations." Now, the air felt heavier. The outer hull of the outpost shook again. This time, the vibration was stronger, like something huge was smashing against the walls. Lara's console lit up with dozens of strange signals coded alien, and moving too fast to be natural. "What is it?" Owen whispered, clutching his tablet. Ethan's jaw tightened. "I don't know, but it's coming here." Through the windows, the crew saw them. Dark ships, fast and sharp, moving in formation. They were unlike anything humans had seen. Their metal was black, reflective, with strange glowing lines running along their bodies. The Vega outpost had no chance in a direct fight, the aliens later known as the Zeroth opened fire. Red beams cut through the blackness outside. Shields flared, and the station rocked violently. Sparks flew from broken panels inside. The alarm screamed again. "Return fire," Ethan shouted. Soldiers scrambled to gun stations. But the outpost's weapons were small and weak compared to the Zeroth ships. The first wave of fire struck the observation deck. Glass cracked. Ethan grabbed Laura and pulled her down. "Commander." Laura yelled, her voice tight with fear. "We can't hold them." "I know." Ethan yelled back. "Keep sending the distress signal. Earth has to know." Laura nodded and hit the communications panel. The signal went out into deep space, a pulse of hope in the endless darkness. She typed faster, adding coordinates, status, everything she could send. The Zeroth were closing in, their attacks growing stronger, more precise. Owen tried to help, pushing supplies and shields where he could. "We might survive if we can reach the escape pods," he said. "But only a few of us." Ethan shook his head. "We're not leaving anyone behind. Not if we can stop them." The outpost shook again. Bulkheads bent and screeched. Fires ignited in the corridors. Crew members ran, trying to reach safety or help the wounded. Ethan moved from station to station, shouting orders, helping, fighting panic as it crept into his mind. The Zeroth ships hovered outside, almost like predators circling their prey. They fired again. The shields held for a few seconds, then broke. Metal groaned, sparks flew, and alarms screamed in a deafening chorus. The station lurched. Ethan grabbed a railing to keep from falling. Laura was frozen for a moment, staring at the screens. The signals showed no escape, no hope, only the advancing fleet. "Ethan, they're going to..." Her voice broke. "Not yet," he said firmly. "We hold as long as we can. We fight because we must." The first explosion hit the central hub. The floor shook violently, throwing people off their feet. Owen hit the ground hard, scraping his arm, but he quickly got up. Fire engulfed parts of the lab. Equipment melted, and alien chemicals hissed as they met the flames through the chaos. Ethan ran to the command center. He saw the crew trying to fight back, but each moment the Zereth gained more ground. They fired through the walls, cutting power to some sections, trapping people inside. The station was crumbling, and yet Ethan refused to give up. Laura. He yelled over the noise. Keep sending that signal. I'm trying. She shouted, tears streaming down her face. She pressed more keys, sending fragments of data, messages, coordinates, and pleas. Earth has to know. They have to come. Outside the reinforced windows, more alien ships arrived. The fleet had grown while they were distracted. Red beams crisscrossed the sky, cutting through the station's defenses. The walls cracked, the lights flickered, and the station shook as though it were a living thing in pain. Ethan pulled out a small flare gun. He fired it at the approaching ships, hoping the bright light might confuse their targeting sensors. It worked for a few seconds. A beam missed, striking an empty corridor instead. Sparks rained down, escape pods. Owen yelled suddenly, "We can't fight them here, but maybe we can survive if we launch." Ethan hesitated. He looked at the crew. Some were injured, some panicked. "Get them to the pods," he ordered. "Everyone else, hold them off as long as you can." Laura grabbed him by the arm. "Commander, if we stay, we all die." "I know," he said quietly, "but the message must get through. It has to reach Earth. That is our last weapon." Owen helped the wounded to the pods. Soldiers ran alongside, firing improvised weapons at the advancing aliens. The escape pods were small, barely large enough for two, but it was their only chance. The station shook again. A huge explosion tore through the command deck. Ethan was thrown against the wall. Laura hit the floor beside him. Smoke filled the air. The smell of burned electronics and metal stung their noses. Earth. Laura whispered, "They need to know what happened here." Ethan nodded weakly, coughing. "They will. I made sure of it." He saw the last pods launch into space. They drifted toward the distant signals he had helped Laura send. For a moment, he allowed himself to hope. But hope was fragile. Another beam struck the hull. The command center began to collapse. Ethan held Lara's hand, steadying her. Around them, the station fell apart. Fire spread, walls crumbled, and the noise was deafening. Laura looked at him, eyes wide. Will we survive?" Ethan shook his head. "I don't know. But the humans will answer. They always do." The floor beneath them cracked, separating them from the last crew members trying to fight. Ethan pulled Laura toward a side exit. Smoke and debris made it almost impossible to see. Outside, the station was breaking apart. Lights flickered, metal twisted, and the ships hovered, ready to finish their attack. Ethan knew it was over for Vega Outpost. The crew had done all they could. Laura clutched the communication device. "I can still send something. Maybe Earth will understand." Ethan nodded. "Do it. Do not let our silence be their victory." She pressed the final keys, sending a pulsive signal into deep space. The message contained coordinates, the story of their attack, and one simple word that she typed over and over: remember. The aliens fired again. Red beams tore through the walls near them. Ethan grabbed Laura and dove into a side corridor. The ceiling collapsed behind them. Dust and sparks rained down. They reached a small storage room, barely intact. Laura collapsed, breathing hard. Ethan checked the room. It was small, barely enough space to survive a few minutes. Outside, they could hear the destruction of the outpost, the screams of machines and people alike. Ethan held her hand tightly. "We may not make it, Laura, but our message will. The humans will come. They always do." She nodded, tears streaking her face. I hope you're right." The station shook one last time. The main hull cracked and groaned. The lights flickered and went out. Outside, the alien ships hovered, almost triumphant, thinking the humans were gone. But deep in space, the pulse of their distress signal raced toward Earth. It was faint, fragile, and almost lost in the vast emptiness. But it carried one truth. Humans had been attacked, and humans would respond. In the storage room, Ethan and Lara sat in silence. Round them, Vega Outpost burned. Outside, the stars kept their quiet watch. Inside, the humans survived, small, fragile, but still alive, and far away, Earth would hear. No one on Vega knew what would come next. But one thing was certain. The attack on one human outpost would not be forgotten. Somewhere, far across the galaxy, the humans would remember. Ethan looked at Lara. Tell them what we saw. Tell them everything. Lara nodded. She pressed her hand to the communicator. They will know. They will know we were attacked. And they will answer. And in the endless dark of space, Vega Outpost ended. But the story of its people, of the signal sent, and of human endurance had only just begun. The pulse of the Vega Outpost distress signal raced across space. It traveled for days, jumping from relay satellites to human outposts, until finally it reached Earth. In the Terran Command Center, alarms rang as operators scrambled to understand the incoming message. Admiral Natalie Brooks stood on the main deck, her eyes fixed on the data streaming across the holographic display. She was tall, with short black hair and a stern face, but her eyes betrayed worry. She had commanded fleets before, but nothing like this. The signal was fragmented, damaged, full of screams and static, and yet it was clear enough. They've been attacked, an operator said, pointing at the screen. Vega Outpost, it's gone. The transmission, it's broken, but we receive coordinates. Natalie swallowed hard. Show me the origin, she said. A map appeared, pinpointing the remote outpost. It was on the edge of human space, far from the nearest colony. Natalie felt a pang in her chest. She remembered her son, who had once trained at Vega for a summer assignment. He wasn't there anymore. But the thought of what might have happened to others made her fist clench. Admiral, another officer said, there are fragments of alien code in the transmission. It looks like a warning. Something like, the humans must learn their place. Natalie's face hardened. They didn't just attack. They meant to send a message. And they thought humans would stay quiet. The command center erupted in discussion. Scientists and officers argued over what the next move should be. Some recommended restraint. The council feared that retaliation could lead to war. Other species, they said, might intervene. War? Natalie asked sharply. Do you call this war or murder? Admiral, the council is cautious. They want to avoid escalation, a council member explained. Natalie turned to the young officer at the communications console. Have we verified survivors? Not yet, the officer said, shaking his head. The signal didn't last long enough to include crew status. Natalie's heart sank. Then they could all be dead. The council debated for hours, their voices rising and falling in the massive chamber. Some wanted to wait for more intelligence. Some wanted to send a small fleet to investigate. But Natalie knew what the humans needed. Decisive answer. The Zereth could not be allowed to attack with impunity. She left the council chamber and walked through the corridors of Terran Command. The halls were quiet, but the tension hung like a storm cloud. Officers whispered in small groups. Computers hummed. Holographic maps glowed in the dark. Natalie reached the fleet control room. General Marcus Hale was already there. He stood near the main tactical console. A tall man with short gray hair and a steady, unshakable presence. He didn't speak much, but when he did, people listened. Admiral Brooks turned to him. Marcus, Vega Outpost has been destroyed. The council wants caution, but I want action. We cannot let this go unanswered. Marcus nodded slowly. I understand, Admiral, but the Zereth are strong. They underestimate humans. That is their mistake. I will plan our response. But we must be precise. We cannot afford mistakes. Natalie's eyes hardened. Precision is fine, Marcus. But it must be swift and strong. The message is simple. You attack humans, and there will be consequences. Marcus turned to the tactical display, fingers moving over the controls. Maps of distant star systems appeared, highlighting the borders of Zereth space. We will strike at their fleet depots, their supply lines, and their communications. We will show them that no human world is safe to attack, and we will do it with speed. By the time they know we came, it will be too late to stop us." Natali's chest tightened. The plan was brutal, but it was necessary. Humanity had always been underestimated. They had been written off as weak, peaceful, and slow to react, but humans endured. Humans survived. Humans struck back when pushed too far. Meanwhile, scientists worked on decoding the alien signals. The Zereth language was strange, with sounds and patterns that humans had never seen. But the fragments from Vega Outpost were enough to understand their intent. The aliens believed humans were a minor species, not worth serious attention. They thought attacking a small outpost would teach humans a lesson. "They think we are weak," Natalie said, watching the translation appear on the screen. "They think we cannot respond. They will learn the truth." Days passed. Ships were assembled. Fleets mobilized, weapons loaded. Earth's people worked quietly, but with determination. Every officer, every engineer, every sailor knew what was at stake. The attack on Vega Outpost was more than a tragedy, it was a challenge to the entire human race. In the fleet preparation bay, Captain Nora Lang oversaw the loading of supplies onto the flagship. Resolute, she was young, but confident, with sharp brown eyes and a calm demeanor. Her crew respected her, not just because she gave orders, but because she never asked anyone to do something she would not do herself. "Check the weapons systems," she said to her officers. "We need everything online. Every ship must function at maximum efficiency. We leave nothing to chance." The crew moved quickly. Engineers worked on engines, weapons, and shields. Pilots ran simulations. Everyone knew the fleet would not just be traveling into enemy space. They would be carrying the weight of Vega Outpost's memory, the lives lost, and the pride of humanity. In her private quarters, Admiral Brooks looked at the stars through the window. Vega Outpost had been small, isolated, but it had mattered. Every human life mattered. And now the galaxy would see. "What happened when humans were attacked?" she whispered softly. "You will not be forgotten. Not now, not ever." Marcus Hale joined her. "We must be ready," he said. "The Zereth will be surprised, but they will also resist. We must plan for every scenario." "I want them to understand," Natalie said. "Not just the fleet. Every Zereth must see that attacking humans has consequences. We will not kill without reason. But we will not hesitate either." As the fleet prepared to leave, Laura Bennett's escape pod finally reached the edge of human space. She floated in silence, staring at the distant blue planet that was home. Her communicator crackled weakly, sending fragments of Vega's final messages to Earth. When the pulse reached Terran Command, Natalie saw it immediately. "She's alive," Natalie said. Relief washed over her, but it was brief. "She will tell us everything. We will know exactly what happened." The fleet's engines roared to life. Hundreds of ships, large and small, moved in perfect formation. They left Earth's orbit, moving past moons and planets, traveling faster than the eye could follow. Their destination was the Zereth territory, far beyond human borders. On the bridge of the Resolute, Captain Lang watched the stars streak past. "All systems ready," she said. "We move as one. No one falters. No one fails." In the distance, the signals of the Vega survivors continued to reach the human fleet. The memories of the fallen crew, their courage, and their fear became a quiet chorus in the minds of every sailor. They would not forget. They would not forgive. Earth's fleet crossed into the dark void, heading toward the alien systems that had dared attack. Humans. The Zereth could not know what was coming. Their arrogance had blinded them. They believed humans were slow, careful, and weak. They were wrong. Admiral Brooks gave one final order from Terran Command. "Let them know humanity does not forgive. Let them know humanity does not forget. Let them know humanity responds. And let them know, above all, that attacking one human outpost is a declaration against all of us." As the fleet disappeared into the blackness, the council watched in stunned silence. Some were fearful. Some were awed. None could argue. Humanity had been wronged, and humans had answered. Laura Bennett drifted in her pod, watching distant stars and remembering her fallen friends. Commander Ethan Cole, Dr. Owen Carter, and the others were gone, but she carried their courage. She pressed the communicator. sending final messages to Earth. We were attacked. Remember us. We fought. We endured. On Earth, the fleet moved faster, sharper. And with a determination that had been built over centuries, humans had faced impossible odds before and survived. They had endured attacks, plagues, wars, and disasters, and now the galaxy would see what humanity could do when pushed to the edge. The pulse of revenge, justice, and survival traveled with them. The stars ahead were dark, but humans were brighter than any star in the galaxy. The Council, the scientists, the fleet, they all knew the same truth. Vega Outpost was gone. But humanity's answer would arrive faster, stronger, an unstoppable. No alien fleet could hide. No world could stand unprepared. Humans had received the message, and the galaxy would soon understand that attacking one human outpost was the gravest mistake anyone could make. Deep in space, Lara whispered to herself, "We will make them remember. They will never forget Vega." Her eyes shone with tears, but also determination. Somewhere out there, humans were coming, and they would bring justice. The first part of humanity's response had begun. The human fleet moved silently through the darkness of space. Hundreds of ships, large and small, formed a tight formation, traveling faster than any alien could imagine. Captain Nora Lang stood on the bridge of the Resolute, her hand steady on the rail. Her brown eyes scanned the stars ahead, knowing that soon, the silence would end. "We are entering Zereth space," her communications officer said, voice low. "Sensors detect ships ahead. They are gathering." Nora nodded. "Keep scanners on full. I want every ship, every weapon ready. They attack Vega Outpost. They think we are weak. We will show them they are wrong." The crew worked quickly. Engineers checked weapons, pilots ran final drills, and soldiers prepared for battle. The tension was heavy, but it fueled determination. Every human knew what had happened at Vega Outpost. They had seen the images, the fragments of signals, and the names of those who died. General Marcus Hale joined Captain Lang on the bridge. "They are surprised we are here so fast," he said. "They expected caution. They expected hesitation. They will pay for underestimating us." Nora clenched her fists. "We fight for Vega, and for every human who has ever been attacked. We will not fail." Outside, the first Zereth ships appeared. They were dark and sleek, moving with confidence. Thousands of small fighters swarmed around larger battleships. They fired warning beams that lit up the black space. The aliens had not expected humans to come so fast or in such force. "They see us," the tactical officer said. "They are preparing weapons." Marcus studied the holographic display. "Do not fire until I give the order. Let them think they can intimidate us. Let them feel their mistake." The humans held. The Zereth fired again, beams that missed by inches, creating flashes in the darkness. Their confidence faltered as human shields flared, absorbing the impact without damage. "Shields holding," an engineer reported. "Weapons online." Captain Lang leaned over the console. "Prepare the first strike. Target the fleet depots and communication hubs. We do not destroy planets, yet. We destroy their ability to fight." The order came. Human ships moved with precision. Weapons fired in perfect coordination. Lasers and plasma beams tore through the Zereth formation. The aliens did not expect this speed or accuracy. Several ships exploded instantly, sending debris spinning in all directions. Impact confirmed. The officer said, "Multiple enemy ships destroyed. No human losses." The bridge erupted in quiet satisfaction. Humans had struck first and struck hard. The Zereth ships scattered, trying to regroup, but humans anticipated their movement. Every maneuver the aliens made had already been predicted. Outside, small squads of human fighters moved like shadows. They struck the alien fleet, targeting weak points in the armor. The Zereth tried to counterattack, but human tactics were faster, smarter, and coordinated. Every human ship knew its role, and every attack worked together like pieces of a single machine. Captain Lang watched the screen carefully. "They are retreating toward Dractor. Follow them. Do not let them escape." General Marcus nodded. "We will corner them." They underestimated human speed and intelligence. Their arrogance will be their undoing. on Dractor, the largest Xerath colony world. Alarms rang in every building. Citizens ran in panic as ships exploded overhead. The alien government scrambled fighters and defenses. But humans already knew the layout of every base, every fleet depot. They know too much. A Xerath commander shouted. How can humans predict everything? They are not ordinary, another Xerath replied. They are stronger, faster, smarter than we imagine. The humans struck again. They used a new weapon called the Mirror Lance. Designed from peaceful technology originally meant to focus light for solar energy. Now, it could fold beams of energy to destroy entire alien shields and weapons in seconds. Mirror Lance ready, the weapons officer reported. Targeting main fleet depot. Fire, Marcus said simply. A brilliant beam of concentrated light shot from the human flagship. It struck the Xerath depot with perfect accuracy. Explosions rocked the planet below, destroying supplies, ships, and weapon factories. The aliens screamed in panic. They had not expected humans to turn peaceful tools into deadly weapons. Depot destroyed. The officer said, enemy resources cut in half. Noralang smiled slightly. Keep pressure. They will surrender before the day ends. The Xerath tried to regroup their remaining ships. But humans were faster. Every attempt was anticipated and blocked. Human fighters moved like shadows, striking at weak points, avoiding strong defenses, and forcing the aliens into a corner. From orbit, human ships looked like a single, unstoppable force. Every laser, every missile, every strike was precise. The Xerath began to understand they had misjudged the humans. Their arrogance had led them to attack Vega Outpost, and now they were paying the price. Back on the flagship, Marcus watched the battle unfold. They will not surrender easily, he said. But the lesson will be clear. Humans do not forgive attacks on their own. Captain Lang nodded. We fight with honor, but we do not hesitate. Every Xerath ship that attacked Vega will face consequences. We cannot show weakness. The battle continued for hours. The human fleet moved with perfection, blocking escape routes, cutting supply lines, and neutralizing weapon systems. The Xerath resistance faltered. They tried to call for reinforcements, but human ships had already disabled their communications. On one of the smaller human ships, pilot Jason Hill gripped the controls tightly. He had trained for years for moments like this. Target locked, he said. Firing. Explosions lit up space as Xerath ships fell one by one. Debris spun slowly, glittering against the blackness. Jason smiled. They underestimated us. They always do. Meanwhile, General Marcus ordered another strike on a major Xerath command hub. Disable their leadership, he said. Show them humans fight with both strength and intelligence. The Mirror Lance fired again. The command hub erupted, and the Xerath command fleet faltered. Confusion spread among their ranks. Humans moved quickly to capitalize on the disorder. Captain Lang watched the tactical display. They are surrendering in pockets. Keep pressure, but do not destroy survivors. We need them alive for intelligence. Every ship that attacked Vega will see our power. The Xerath tried to fight back, but the humans were relentless. Every move, every attack, every strategy had been anticipated. The aliens began to panic. Ships that had once moved confidently now scattered in fear. Unable to match the speed and precision of human coordination in orbit over Dractor, the humans prepared the final stage of their assault. Orbital weapons focused on communication centers, supply depots, and fleet hangars. The planet shook as the humans demonstrated the power of their technology and strategy. Marcus watched the results. They will surrender, he said quietly. It is only a matter of time. They attacked our people. They thought we would hesitate. They were wrong, Captain Lang nodded. Vega Outpost may be gone, but its memory drives us. They will see the cost of attacking humans from her escape pod. Laura Bennett drifted closer to the fleet. She watched the humans move like a single, unstoppable organism. She saw ships strike with precision, tactics that seemed impossible, and weapons that could destroy entire depots in seconds. For the first time, she understood the full strength of humanity. They are incredible. She whispered to herself. They will not stop. The Xerath fleet began to surrender. Some ships attempted to flee, but the human fleet anticipated every move. Captured ships were taken intact. The remaining forces on Draktar realized that no corner of their empire was safe. Humans had arrived, faster and smarter than anyone could imagine. Marcus looked at the bridge of the Resolute. "Operation Iron Dawn is working," he said. "The Zereth will learn that attacking one human outpost means facing the full power of humanity. Every strike we make is for Vega. Every ship we destroy is justice." Captain Lang turned to her crew. "We fight with honor. We fight with precision. And we fight for those who cannot fight themselves. Remember Vega. Remember our people. Humanity will not forgive, and humanity will not forget." Outside, the stars reflected off the debris of Zereth ships. Explosions lit the darkness like fireworks, and yet the humans moved with calm efficiency. Every move, every strike, every calculation was perfect. The battle continued into the night. The Zereth tried one last counterattack, but humans anticipated it. Every ship, every weapon, every strategy had already been accounted for. The aliens' arrogance had been their undoing. By the end of the battle, the Zereth fleet was broken. Ships lay destroyed, command hubs were in ruins, and their forces scattered. The humans had proven their superiority. Marcus Hale stood quietly on the Resolute's bridge, looking at the tactical displays. "They attacked one outpost. We destroyed their fleet. They underestimated us. Humanity is not weak. Humanity is not slow. Humanity is unstoppable when pushed too far." Captain Lang watched the stars, thinking of Vega Outpost, of Ethan Cole, of Laura Bennett, and of the crew who had fought and died. "They will remember this day," she said softly, "and they will never make the same mistake again." Laura Bennett watched from her pod, tears in her eyes. Humans had answered. They had come faster, harder, and smarter than anyone could imagine. Vega Outpost would not have died in vain. The first stage of Earth's response was complete. The humans had won the space battle, but the final lesson, the judgment of Draktar itself, was still to come. The human fleet hung over Draktar, the largest Zereth colony world. From orbit, the planet looked dark and quiet, but Marcus Hale knew it was full of panic. The aliens had seen their fleet destroyed, their depots in ruins, and their defenses shattered. Yet, they still had cities and people below. Humans would not harm civilians unnecessarily, but they would deliver justice. Captain Nora Lang watched the tactical displays on the Resolute. "We have full control of orbit," she said. "All depots and command centers are disabled. The rest of the planet has no way to fight us." Marcus stood beside her. "This is the moment." The Zereth thought they could attack one outpost without consequences. They were wrong. Now, they will understand the cost of underestimating humanity. From her escape pod, Laura Bennett drifted closer to the fleet. She had survived Vega Outpost and now watched humanity strike back with unimaginable force. She could see the humans moving like a single organism, precise, careful, and deadly. She thought of her friends who had died and whispered, "This is for you. They will remember Vega." The fleet began preparations for the final stage of Operation Iron Dawn. Orbital reformation beams were loaded on the flagship and several other ships. These beams could focus tremendous energy on the planet's surface, melting buildings, destroying military facilities, and leaving no structures standing in their path. Humans had designed this weapon to avoid unnecessary deaths, but in this case, it was a demonstration of power. Marcus gave the final orders. "Target the command hubs, military depots, and shipyards. Disable the ability of Draktar to ever threaten human worlds again." The beams fired in sequence. Energy ribbons streaked through space, striking the planet's cities. Explosions tore through urban centers, melting steel and concrete. The ground shook, fires ignited, and smoke rose into the thin atmosphere. The Zereth screamed in terror. Their cities burned, their fleets were gone, and they could not fight back from orbit. Humans watched carefully. They moved in coordination, striking with precision. Every target was chosen to prevent further attacks on humans while showing their power. Captain Lang monitored the effects. Command hubs offline. Military depots destroyed. Shipyards neutralized. Marcus nodded. "We have completed our objective." The lesson will be remembered for generations. On the ground, surviving Xerath panicked. Leaders tried to organize defense, but without communications, without ships, without weapons, they could do nothing. Some fled into tunnels and shelters, hoping to survive. But humans had planned for that. Sensors located every underground facility, and the Reformation beams could reach deep into bunkers. In the quiet of space, Admiral Natalie Brooks watched the operation from Earth Command. She felt a weight on her shoulders. Vega Outpost was gone. Thousands of Xerath would die. Humans had delivered justice, but it was grim, and it was complete. She whispered to herself, "They attacked us. They forced this. May the stars remember Vega." Laura Bennett listened from her pod, silent. She did not feel joy. She felt relief and awe at what humans had achieved. Vega Outpost had not died in vain. Humanity had shown the galaxy its strength, intelligence, and unbreakable will. As the last of the Reformation beams struck Dractor, the planet's surface changed. Cities were gone. Military complexes destroyed. The remaining population had no way to attack humans ever again. The survivors realized, finally, that humanity would not forgive. Humanity would not forget. Marcus Hale looked at the displays. Operation Iron Dawn is complete. The Xerath will surrender. Their arrogance led them here. Their attack on one outpost has cost them everything. Captain Lang watched silently. It is done. They will remember this day forever. We have answered Vega Outpost. In the silence after the destruction, the humans allowed themselves a moment to breathe. Their ships were intact, their crews unharmed, and the enemy neutralized. For once, humanity had delivered a message the galaxy would never forget. Lara's pod was pulled aboard the Resolute. She was weak but alive. Captain Lang greeted her personally. "You survived. Vega's memory is alive because of you." Lara nodded, tears running down her face. "I saw everything. They will never attack humans again. They will remember Vega." Marcus walked over and placed a hand on her shoulder. "You have witnessed what humans can do when pushed too far. You are part of history now. Your survival and your story will remind everyone of the cost of attacking our people on Earth." The Council received updates from the fleet. Some members whispered in shock. Others watched silently. Humans had not just defended themselves, they had erased the military and communication power of an entire alien civilization that dared attack them. The galaxy had never seen anything like it. Admiral Brooks addressed the Council. Vega Outpost was small, isolated, and attacked without warning. Humanity has delivered justice. Let this be a warning to all species. Do not attack humans. We will respond, and we will not hesitate. Back on the Resolute, Laura watched the stars outside the window. She thought of Ethan Cole, Dr. Owen Carter, and the rest of the crew who had died at Vega. She whispered, "We will make them remember. We will honor you." Marcus Hale turned to Captain Lang. "Prepare for the return to Earth. The mission is complete. The galaxy knows now. Humans are not weak. Humans do not forgive. Humans endure, and humans strike back when crossed." Captain Lang nodded. "We have done what we must. Vega's sacrifice will be remembered. Humanity will never forget." The fleet began its journey back to Earth. Each ship carried the memory of Vega, the strength of humans, and a message that would echo through the stars. Humanity had proven itself not just capable of surviving, but capable of dominating when necessary, of protecting its own with unmatched strategy, skill, and willpower. On Dractor, the remaining Xerath finally surrendered. Leaders sent messages of surrender to human command. They had no ships, no weapons, no hope. They knew they had underestimated humans, and the cost of that mistake was total destruction. From orbit, humans watched as the planet was secured. There were no celebrations aboard the fleet. There was no joy. There was only the quiet understanding that they had delivered justice. Humanity had protected itself, and no attack would ever be simple again. Laura Bennett looked out the window, thinking of the crew of Vega Outpost. She knew their sacrifice had shaped humanity's response. She whispered softly, "You will always be remembered." Marcus Hale entered the observation deck quietly. "History will remember this day," he said. Vega Outpost was small, but its courage was enormous. Humans have shown the galaxy who we are. We will survive, we will endure, and we will always fight back when threatened. Captain Lang placed a hand on Marcus's shoulder. The galaxy will not forget. Humans are stronger than they imagined. We have proven it, and we have honored Vega Outpost in the process. The fleet moved through the darkness, heading home. Humans had answered the attack with unmatched force, intelligence, and precision. The galaxy would remember this day. They would remember Vega, and they would remember the lesson. Attacking humans was a mistake no one could afford to make. Twice in her pod, Lara closed her eyes. She felt a quiet sense of closure. The people she had lost would be remembered. Vega Outpost had been avenged, and humanity had shown its true strength, its courage, its intelligence, and its will to protect its own. Admiral Brooks spoke quietly to herself in her command room on Earth. We endured. We remembered. And we answered. Let the stars know the price of attacking humans. The galaxy was silent now. The Zereth had learned, the humans had proven, and the memory of Vega Outpost would echo for generations. Humanity had won, not through reckless destruction, but through careful planning, precise strategy, and unstoppable determination. And somewhere, among the stars, the humans knew one truth: when attacked, humanity strikes back, always. The fleet continued its journey home, carrying survivors, memory, and the story of Vega Outpost. It was a story of loss, courage, and the power of humans when pushed to the edge. And the galaxy would never forget.